Okay, well, while the other one's uploading, I might as well do these as well. This one says a triangle should belong, you know, all that stuff. Honestly, I would ignore the triangle and just focus on this. I have 2x is greater than 90. So how do I get x by itself? Well, this is 2 times x. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 2? Probably dividing by 2. So we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. This cancels out and gives us x. And then 90 divided by 2 should give us 45. Notice how I kept the sign. I keep the sign because either way, you didn't multiply or divide by a negative number, which is why we kept the sign. Let's look at this one. Ms. Kane is making a picture frame that's shaped like a square. So I know that if x is one side of the bulletin board, I can just have a little square with x's all over it. So I know that the perimeter, I know that the whole length should be 4x. Because basically, well, one of these is x and there's 4 of them. I also know that I have 80 to deal with. And so here's what I need to think about, okay? Should it be 4x less than or equal to 80? So should we have less than this or should we have more than this? If you pick less than, you're completely right. We shouldn't be using more than we have because it's not possible. Which is why it's 4x is less than or equal to 80. So now I have to, you know, figure out how long one side is. So I have to get x by itself. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 4? If you said dividing by 4, you're completely correct. When dividing both sides by 4, this cancels out and gives me x. 80 divided by 4 is 20. And then do I keep the sign or do I flip it? Hopefully you said I keep the sign because I did not multiply or divide by a negative number. Apparently it's the same problem. I know I have 4x because I have 4 of these and then it's x. But this time there's 60 inches of picture frame. So again, I should probably have less than or equal to because I can't spend more than I have. I have x by itself, and if I divide both sides by 4 to get, you know, x by itself, I should get 60 divided by 4, which is 15. And I also keep the sign because it's, sorry, I keep the sign because I did not multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay. What this basically means is plug it in. I'm going to plug x in for every single one of these. It's going to take a while, but I can do this. Let's look at this first. What's 4.5 plus 6? Well, this equals 10.5, and is 7.2 greater than 10.5? No, it's smaller. So no, A is not an answer. Let's look at this. We have 4.5 minus 4.05. I'm going to add a 0 right here, and then I'm just going to subtract. And I have 45 hundredths. Is 2.5 less than 45 hundredths? Not in my universe. It's bigger. So now let's look at this. This one has a decimal. It's kind of ugly, but I guess I have to do it, don't I? Okay, so I have 4.5, and I'm going to convert this really quick because these are fractions. I'm going to change mine to a fraction as well. So 4.5 is 4 and 1/2 plus 5 and 3/5. Well, I know that to add these, I need to have a common denominator, so I'm going to change the denominators to be 10. So I have 4. If I multiply the bottom by 5, I have to multiply the top by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. So I basically changed 4 and 1/2 to 4 and 5/10. Then I have to add 5, so if I multiply by 2 here to get 10, I have to multiply by 2 here to get 6. And so 4 plus 5 is, 9. 11 plus 10 is, 6 plus 5 is 11. This is an improper fraction, so I know that this is equal to 1 1/10. So if you add these together, you should get 10 1/10 as your answer. 10 obviously is not bigger than 9, so I know that C is wrong. Therefore, our only possible answer is D. Here, sorry. If you really didn't trust me, I guess I could do 4 1/2 plus 1 1/4. I know that this is basically 4 2/4 plus 1 1/4. If you add those together, you should get 5 3/4. And know that 5 3/4 is actually bigger than 5 3/8. Sorry, 3/5. Because 3/5 is basically 0.6, while 3.3/4 is 0.75. So if you ask me which one's bigger, I'd have to say that 75/100 is bigger than 6/100, which is why the answer is D. So now we have this. Which inequality is x is equal to this? So honestly, you'd plug it in again. And so I'm going to do 6.25 plus 4, and you get 10.25. Is 3 1/2 bigger than 10.25? If you said no, you're right. There's no way it is. Again, 6.25. This is very similar to the top one, by the way, because I know that this answer is basically 45/100. Is 3.5 less than 45/100? Nope. I do this again. It's going to be 6 1/4 plus 2 3/5. I know I need to change the bottom. The denominator, I'm going to change to 20 this time. So I'm going to do times 5 here and times 4 here. So I have 6 and then 20, and then 1 times 5 is 5 plus 2, and then 3 times 4 is 12, and then I got 20. Okay, I add them up together. I hope you're following along. I'm just talking out loud at this point. I got 17/20. So I don't know, actually. I'm going to kind of leave this one alone because I'm not 100% sure. But I know that this 7/4 is going to be roughly about maybe a little bit more than half, while this is definitely more than half. Yeah, this is 8/10, while this is 5/10-ish. Here, let me show you. I basically tried to change these into decimal form. I know that this would be 8 5/10-ish, while this would be 8 8/10-ish. And so this is asking, is 8 5/10 greater than 8 8/10? The answer is no, so I know C is not an option. I know there's a lot of steps, but it's really important that we do all these steps to, make sure that we get this. So our only option is D. I'd show the work, but I feel like I should, I know. So I'm going to go like this. 6 1/4 is this in fraction form plus 1 1/4. I know if you add that up, this is going to be 7 2/4. So is 7 2/4 less than 7 2/4? Apparently not. So yeah. Let's look at this. When Mr. Thompson goes running every day after school, he can run no more than. I know no more than means it's less than. Oops, sorry, I wrote the wrong one. Less than. And so I know it's going to be at least less than. And so he knows that he can run each lap in 1.5 minutes. And he can run no more than this. So honestly, we just got our answer just by setting it up. If you really didn't know, you can always double check by dividing both sides by 1.5. But either way, we got our answer. It should be B. Okay, 4 more. So this one is the same idea. This is Wade. He can spend no more than, so I know it's a less than sign, 45 minutes a day practicing. We know he practices each song in 4.5 minutes. sorry, I guess that was supposed to be a 1. So 1.5 minutes. And so as you can see, the answer is B. Hey, that rhymed. Okay, again, we need to plug this in. So I'm going to do 3/2, which is basically 1.5 times 0.6, because I plugged it in, you know? And so I know that 1/5, honestly, can't you just divide both sides? I don't know, I'm talking now. But I'm going to multiply just to be sure. I'm going to do 1.5 times 0.6. 5 times 3 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. And so now I have 9. Is 1 less than 9? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to move the decimal twice. So this is 9/10. Is 1 less than 9/10? No, it's not. What I was saying earlier is that couldn't you just divide both sides by 4? And I think that's an option. That way we can isolate x. What I mean by that is that you have this, right? And so if you want to isolate x, you know, get it by itself, we have to do the opposite of multiplying by 4, which is dividing by 4. And so 2.4 divided by 4, if we bring the decimal up, 4 goes into 2 0 times, but 4 goes into 24 6 times. That way I know that 0.6 is greater than x. Well, let's try this. If we divide both sides by 8/10, we have 4.8 divided by 8/10. We gotta do the swoop. So I swoop once here and I swoop once here. 8 goes into 48 about 6 times as well. So this is 6 is less than x. So because it isn't 6/10, I'm not going to say that's right. Last but not least, we have this one right here, which is 1 55/100 is greater than 2 5/10. So again, we divide both sides by 2.5 to, you know, get it by itself. And then 1 55/100 divided by 225. We gotta do the swoop once here, the swoop once here. And I actually don't know the answer to this, so I'm gonna think it's 7 though. Nope, 7's too big. Let me try 6. Okay, so apparently it's 62/100. And so you got 62/100 is greater than x. So here's where our question is, okay? It says that 6/10 is greater than x. This one is saying 62/100 is greater than x. So which one is it? Note, does this have the or equal to sign? And you realize, wait, no, it doesn't. That means that even though it is 6/10, it doesn't also include 6/10, which is why our answer should be D. Same thing here. If we just plug it in, this should be fun. The numbers seem to be really similar, so what I'm going to try to do is see if it's this one. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2.5 and see, is 1.35 divided by 2.5 going to give us our answer? I swoop once here and I swoop once here. I know that this should go in pretty easily because 5 times 5 is 25, and this should be 30. Sorry, I messed up. It should be 20, and then this is 10. And then I just bring down the 0, and this goes in 4 times. So this is saying 5 54/100 is greater than x. So let's plug in x. Is 54/100 bigger than 5/10? And the answer is yes, so it's D. Last but not least, it's another practice problem for dividing. You divide by 3.6 on both sides to get x by itself. And we have 18 divided by 3.6. I swoop once here, I swoop once here, and I want to say the answer is 5. I put a 5 here, 6, 7, 4, 3. I have a circle, and I'm looking for numbers that are greater than 5. Is 4 greater than 5? Nope. Is 7 greater than 5? Yep. And so I know that my arrow should be pointing to the right. So that's basically the reasoning behind this. If I were you, I'd also study this. But like I said, this review is very similar to the one on the test. And so, happy studying and good luck.